Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Julie Huffman, the Genealogy Librarian at Los Angeles Public Library, and welcome to Genealogy Garage. Genealogy Garage is a program we put on every third Saturday. It's co-sponsored by the Southern California Genealogical Society and the Genealogical Society of Hispanic America, Southern California chapter. And I just want to take a quick shout out to those two groups because they help us immensely with this program, especially Charlotte Bocage and Isabel Perez. Thank you. And it's just kind of a testament to the power of groups getting together to help the community. So I really appreciate it. Also, you should see my email address on the screen. So if you want to be on my mailing list to hear about other genealogy garages or events that are coming up, just shoot me an email and I'll add you. I want to also give a couple plugs. One is the Southern California Genealogical Society's Genealogy Jamboree is going to be completely online this year, and now it's available for registration, open for registration. It's going to take place June 4th to 5th for the DNA segment, and June 11th to 12th for the general genealogy, Stars in Your Family segment. So just Google SCGS Jamboree if you would like to register. It's a really, really great conference. When I was getting started, it taught me loads. Also, the Family History Library's Roots Tech is going to be completely online this year and free. So you can go to rootstech.org and register. It's going to take place February 25th to 27th. Since it's free, you should take advantage of this. It's a really amazing conference. So today, we have sort of a departure from our typical genealogy presentation. Today, we're going to hear from a private investigator who has years of experience combing through those mysterious records that are right in front of us, public records. For some reason, I've always been a little intimidated by public records. They seem a little different from your standard genealogical resources. But James Wiggins, a researcher who has experience with these resources as regards to family history, but also business history, heir research, litigation searching, civil and criminal investigations, probate research, and real property ownership. He is going to help guide us through these records and how he finds his answers today. So please feel free to ask questions as we're going along. This is a highly interactive adventure. So it is my pleasure to now introduce Jim Wiggins.
Thank you, Julie, and it's my pleasure to be here. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. As she said, my name is James Wiggins. I'm a licensed private investigator here in California. I've been licensed in the state since 1988. I started in 1980 as a skip tracer. And the importance of that is, is that skip tracers look for people using public records. Since my introduction into public records as a credit investigator and then a private investigator, I have used public records in every case or assignment that I've had in the last, I hate to say it, but 41 years. I shouldn't hate to say it because that just shows that I have that amount of experience. And I'm here today to share some of that experience and how public records can help you achieve your goal. The word goal is very important here because you have to have a goal when you start any project. And if you notice, we have provided some handouts, which I think Julie said that they're downloadable. One is the who, what, when, where, and why. 6 tips for writing a strong synopsis. The other is a model report. This model report was designed so that whenever investigators at this particular firm did research on any case, this model report was used to make sure that all the public records were ascertained, looked at. It's important to realize that when searching public records, you may not find anything, but that's important as well. At least you know that there's nothing there. So I'll give everyone a chance to look and see if they can find the downloads, because we're going to use these downloads as a training tool today. Now, the model report was actually used by a major investigative firm that I work for. We did defense work for product liability tort cases throughout the country. I was lucky enough to be assigned the West Coast, New Mexico, Louisiana, Texas, and unbelievably Connecticut. And this model report was used to develop the report and provide details on the individuals that for the information that was found. So I'm going to take a moment, let everyone look at the downloads, and I'm going to provide you with my website. So I would like to share my website, if we will, right now, and give everyone a chance to look at that and see some of the background information pertaining to myself. And there it has information on public records. And one thing that's going to be very important in your development as a researcher is to develop a list of resources. Each research project should have a goals list, and to help round that off, you should have a resource list. And those resources will be locations that we will cover today and anything that you already have in your possession. It is important to know that without this resource list, that when it comes time to do some research, you don't have to look it up because you already have it there. And once you establish your goals list, it is as important as the resource list. So if everyone's ready, I'd like to go ahead and start with what are public records. Public records is information maintained in documents or files of the city, county, state, and federal government. Records can also be provided through professional and nonprofit organizations, and today, especially on the World Wide Web. I am proud to be making this presentation of Genealogy Garage from my own personal Genealogy Garage. On this side, I have reverse city directories. To give you an idea, it goes from Sacramento to San Diego. I have some directories here for Long Beach, 1959. These were our computers. Today, the research that we do can be found all around us, especially on the World Wide Web. Now, public records, as I stated, are housed with the city, the county, the state, and the federal government. I'm going to give some examples of websites that can be used to research public records. And it's important to know that as you develop your resource list, that you put it somewhere that allows you to add to it, preferably online, on your computer, your laptop, whatever device you use, put it in so that you can add and then add additional information under each topic, subtopics, so that as you go to the state, the city, the county, say for instance, city, any city has a business license. They have permits. Some permits are filed with the police department. Real property data can be maintained with the city as well as with the county. With the city, you have ownership listing, property description, and taxes, which most people are totally familiar with, but never thought of using this in a research project. And it helps you to see minute details, which help develop an overall profile or picture for the individual that you're developing the information on. The county has fictitious business names. Fictitious business name is statements filed by individuals who are doing business under an assumed name. So if you have someone that's doing business under a corporation or a fictitious business name, they're not using their name. And you can look that up and find detailed information on where the business is, and when it started, and who were the owners. This is important because if you don't look for this, you may miss something. And it's important, once again, to go over every aspect of public records to get a true picture of the individual that you are attempting to put together a profile on. Also at the county level, you can get real property information. The Registrar, Recorder, County Clerk, they list judgments, a legal description, liens being filed on property. Also, the county has the courts. At one point in Los Angeles, we had the municipal court, which became absorbed into the Superior Court. And that information is with the courthouses. You have civil, superior, probate, and other filings that will allow you to look and see if the person of interest has any filings. And once you find the case, you review the case, and there is a lot of information. I will be showing you the website for the records and archives for Los Angeles County. I'll be showing you the website for the Registrar, Recorders, County Clerk's office. And these places, the archive for records is important because it goes back to the first cases ever filed. You can find the cases on microfiche, and the dockets should be available, which gives you a complete picture of everything that took place in that case. It's important to know that it's going to take time. As you develop your resource list, you will learn to read those public records and find the value of the information that's in it. Next, I'm going to move on to state. the state of California today has a lot of data, corporate information, professional licensing, Secretary of State. I'm a notary public, so therefore I am registered with the Secretary of State under the notary public section. And there is so much information with these particular locations that I'm going to let you add these to your list and explore them. First-hand knowledge, putting your hands on that button, searching the website, and seeing for yourself all the different items that are there. You also know with the state, there's the Department of Motor Vehicle. You have the Superior Courts. The Superior Courts handle now small claims, civil, criminal, family law, probate, and in each one of these particular titles, there's various information that is provided. So it's going to take a moment, as I said, and once you become accustomed to where to go and what's there, you'll be able to come up with names, addresses, places of employment.
James?
Yes.
We had a question a moment ago. Someone, and you might cover this soon, but someone was asking if these websites are free and open to everybody to access.
Okay, that is a good question, and that was going to be my gift for this year. As a matter of fact, each and every website that I'm going to provide a link to is free, and I want to I took time to give everyone a chance to see if they had downloaded the documents that were provided. And the first document is the who, what, when, where, and why, and how. The 6 tips for a strong synopsis, which is basically your profile of the individual. Who? That's very simple. Your synopsis must let you know whom the story is about. And once you start there, then you can branch, just like in your genealogy profiles, link the family members and their titles and their connections to each other. The what is the question, what's most important to your goal? What is it that you're trying to achieve? And then when, what time period? It's important to have a starting point so that you can leap forward or backwards, depending on what time period is that you're researching. And it also dictates what resources are available to you. Where is locations such as residential, business addresses, and any other address that comes up. If you have a family member address, you can put that in, and as a subcategory under in your profile under addresses. Why? This is the reason for the research. Any other questions that come up, all topics, I must add, are not required to be answered. Depending on the type of research you're doing, there are times I don't need each and every topic to help me to generate that profile or report, depending on the matter. I work criminal, I work civil, I work asset recovery, and probate matters, and background investigations. Background investigations are important because if you're going to do business with someone, you need to know who you're doing business with, especially if there's major money. So therefore, I've done that type of work, and I would not have been able to be successful without public records. And the last part of these 6 tools is how and what was used to document the information or data or where the event took place. And you use these until they become second nature. You don't have to continue to refer to the paper. You can go who, what, when, where, why. And I've done that so long that I don't even have to do it anymore. I just automatically know. I go with any assignment, whether it's in the federal, superior, state court, working for a corporation or an individual. I always use those to keep me focused, and it's like a part of my goals list and how I'm going to proceed. Now, if anyone has had a chance to print out the model report, I'm going to use that in a few seconds as I go to a website that I think that is going to be very helpful. And I'm going to remove my website, and I'm going to check right here to see which is the most important to you at this time. And I think I would like to use, you can share the screen, and this is a public records website. It's completely free, and it is simple, and it has been around for a long time. It has endured time, and I think this one is run by a family, and it's public records search by searchsystems.net. And the beauty of this is that it's nationwide, and it's free. And at the bottom of the page, you will see the information about the providers and their telephone number. But you simply put in a name, first and last, and then you choose a state. So since I have some information that I don't want to share, I'm just going to do a search for Wisconsin. And you can see first at the top, public record search, the name. So we'll choose James Wiggins. No middle initial, no middle name. Wiggins. Age. Oh my God, I'm going to get my age. I'm going to do a 21-year-old because I feel 21-year-old. And I'm going to go Milwaukee. And then I'm going to search. And here we have all the James Wiggins. I thought I was unique, and it doesn't look like it. And as I scroll down, this is a list of individuals. And you can see they have the age, they have the city, they have Milwaukee, Chicago, various places that James Wiggins has been. And I don't know why I chose this one, but it looks like a good one. We have relatives, and then at the top, if you look, you'll see name, alias, age, has lived, possible relatives, and profile may include. And I'm going to click this one. This guy is 110 years old, and it would be something that the genealogist would love, because now you have a tool that allows you to, and you see the counter at the time, results found 0. Looking up records again. So this one is, I'm just going to let it go ahead and do the search, and then I'll return to completing an introduction to the model report. even if you do run into a website that charges, you have to do the search. And before you have to pay anything, it will provide you with information like names of relatives, cities, and other details which you can use to help further your research. You don't have to pay for it, but you can use what information they give you to help uh, look further into particular areas that you didn't have at first. So even if you do run into a website that requires some type of fee, it has to search out the name of an individual first, and it will list them, and you can take that list without ordering the report and use it to further your investigation. As this one is compiling, I'm not going to continue with that. I'm going to I would like to switch screens and go back to myself if we can. And while that one is searching, we don't really need to wait at this moment because I only have so much time. That is only one website. I'm going to switch screen and provide one that has city directories nationwide. I think it's the Library of Congress. So I want to first cover the model report. If you have it in your hand, it's okay. If not, I'm going to take my time and go over each topic. This model report starts off with federal criminal. And so therefore you can go to the federal court's website, and they have pacers, which you can purchase that, or you can go to the federal court yourself, which I like to do, go to the court and order the files myself. The federal archives are located in Orange County. So that would be a place that you would go to pull federal cases that are more than 4 or 5 years old, I believe. It depends on the court and how busy that court is before they ship their records to the federal archive. And what you would do is check the indices. They have an indices, and you can do a name search. And when you do the name search, it will cover these topics: criminal, civil, bankruptcy, and it will list the defendant, the date and charges, and case number. And you utilize that to access the file. With the federal court, you're going to be required to, I guess coming up here in a little while, have the identification which allows you to access the buildings. If you haven't gotten a driver's license from California, the new required driver's license, I suggest that you get a passport size card from the United States. It's faster, easier to ascertain, and it will allow you to enter in the future any federal buildings. The federal court is very important because the indices are very helpful with the defendant's name, the type of charges, and other information that's provided in the case. And always remember, a docket gives you total picture of the entire case. So you can look at a docket for the federal court and the state courts and see what took place in those cases. And a lot of instances today, this information is online, and there may be a small fee. Next is the Superior Court. It also has criminal, civil, small claims, And in recent years, the municipal court was absorbed into the Superior Court. And it also has information on probate, uh, small claims. Small claims is important because these type of cases are individuals that have disputes, and you can glean a lot of information about those individuals based upon the dispute. And if you order the docket, and if the court records are available, any comments that were made, this will also help you to understand a little bit more about that person that you are doing your research on. The county clerk's office, Los Angeles County Clerk, is very important, and I'm going to show you their website because they handle voters registration, fictitious business names, or business filings. The city of Los Angeles also has business permits. The city and county both have real estate records, which are housed with the assessor's office. And with these real estate records, you can see home ownership, residential, commercial ownership, tax assessments, property ID number, and they give you an idea of what a person was worth. So during that period of time, whenever it is, if you can access tax records for real estate, it gives you a lot of information about who you're dealing with. The recorder, county clerk, also provides information on business filings, tax liens filed by the state. You have to go and experience the county clerk's office and look up property by name, by year, and it is an amazing place, and it has a great deal of information, and I will cover that website. It also handles birth and marriage records there too. And those birth records, they have several locations for them. They have a basement where the older information is maintained on microfiche and microfilm. And then the most current data is on computer, and they have that on a floor that is accessible, and you can go there and do your research. Business license. The county and the city and the state all have business licensing requirements. So based upon the person that you're developing the profile for, you can research and see what type of business they had. It's important that you use these tools because as you use these tools, it helps you, as I repeatedly said, develop a profile. And as you develop this profile, you can, yes.
James, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's someone who said that your voice broke up when you were explaining this earlier, but where do you find the federal court records again, the federal court records?
Okay, you go to there's Pacer and the actual court itself. Pacer is an online record service provided to individuals. It does cost to do the research there, but it allows you to search for criminal, civil, product liability, whatever type of case was filed. You can search by name or case number, and as for the federal court throughout the United States, you just have to search under the jurisdiction or with the case number and in the proper jurisdiction, and you will be able to access those records, sign up for an account. And if you don't use Pacer, then you go directly to the particular courthouse in your area for the federal court, and go to the clerk's office and ask them how to do research. Each jurisdiction has clerks that are there and available to help you accomplish your goal, which is to find the information that you're looking for. I'm going to go back to public records at this moment because one of the most important public records that we use in genealogy or in research for historical research is with, if you can switch screens, I have a website that everyone should be introduced to. This is the Library of Congress. And this is for researchers, and it has telephone and city directories in the Library of Congress. So as you look up under the title Telephone and City Directories in the Library of Congress, current directories, and then you'll see U.S. telephone directories, U.S. city directories, U.S. reverse telephone directories, and they even have foreign telephone directories, Canadian, non-current, old directories. As you look through the non-current old, you'll see U.S. telephone directories on microfiche. This is a wonderful website. It is free, and as you can see, it covers a lot of areas, and you can read through it to see exactly what's there for you. And then you can also use this website to search other items, even the Superior Court. I mean, not the Superior Court, but the federal court. This is the Library of Congress researchers website or area website, and it covers a lot of stuff. We could go into U.S. telephone directories on microfiche, and it takes you down and it tells you what information is there. I'm going to go back up to the top. This is going to be something that that takes a little time to research and get familiar with. And telephone directories on microfiche, it says published from 1878 through 1959. And this is a helpful website. I'll let it stay there for a second so that you can look and get the address at the top, local loc.gov /RR//bib_guide GUID /telephone non-current, and it's TELEPHONNONCURR.HTM. And once you get there, you'll be able to do a little research and spend a little time surfing. I like to surf websites to see what's available and become familiar with them. I'm going to switch back to and I think at this point I would like to open the floor to see if there are I see someone said just the 2 documents. Yes, it's just 2 documents that I provided, the model report and the who, what, when, where, whys, and how. The model report is important because it gives you some guidelines on some of the records that are available. And this pretty much sets up your goals list. It is important that you have a goals list. It allows you to stay focused, and it helps you to remain on the course. Okay, we have a question here. Are there tax and business records from the 1930s, etc., for LA County businesses? How long are records kept on microfiche? Where can these be seen downtown LA? All right, that would be LA County Clerk's Registrar Recorder's Office in Norwalk. They maintain those records. And most of those are in the basement on microfiche for the time period that you are inquiring about. LA, during that time period, maintained great records. Business tax, any liens for equipment and fixtures. Now, the city of Los Angeles itself really doesn't maintain records that far back, from what I know. Most of the city's old records, once they become obsolete, they actually literally just destroy them. It's important to remember that not just LA, but every city, county, and state office has the same public records. They may be held with the city clerk's office or something similar to that. So when you're looking for assessments and real estate information, just make sure you tell them you want tax information or real estate information, and that's anywhere around the country. I found Texas and Louisiana, those states, they keep almost everything. For Los Angeles, one of the things that I've done is I've kept as much on the city directories, but the most important items are over here on my left. They're microfiche for tax assessors, real property ownership. I have records for Sacramento for the Superior Court or for the courts since the court started in 1875, and I have that all the way through to the 90s, and that's litigation. Not all of LA County records are still available, but if you are going to look for something of that nature, it would be at the LA County Registrar Recorder's office, and the clerks there would be more than happy to help and assist you with your search, but it would be most likely under general filings, and any tax liens recorded would be found in the general index. So you would search the general index by name, and then once you find the person's name on the general index, then you would list any things that that show up, and then request that particular record. Outside of the, okay, we have here a question. No, we are, and the question is, due to COVID, are we able to go to the county clerk registrar recorder's office? Not in person, but you may be able to do research via the mail. So you can contact the clerk's office, get the proper department provide them with whatever fee they're requesting, and they will do the research for you. If not, we're going to have to wait until this is over with and just put that on the back burner. And here's a question from Ginger D. How do we find out the oldest records they keep, since you said the city destroys the records? Okay, it depends on the type of information that you're looking for. Ginger, I think with the city, sometimes they coordinate once again with the Los Angeles County Archives. If this is a tax question, then it would be filed with the county clerk's general index. So you would have to do a microfilm search. And I think at this particular point, you're going to have to once again do that by mail. It's going to take a little longer. When things open up again, there are a lot of organizations that keep people there that do research all the time. So it's always someone there that can do research. Attorney services have people that there to do research, or people like myself can, if you're out of state, can contact me or someone like myself to go there and do the research for you. It really takes just a little getting used to. It's always crowded, and it is a wealth of information there. So a lot of times you won't know until you just go and check. And here I have another question from Sylvia C. Hello, Sylvia. She wants to know, what is my suggestion to search for late 1880s lawsuit? That, Sylvia, depends on where you are. What part of the country are you in, first of all? I would like to know that, because if you're from somewhere like Louisiana, Texas, and I say that because I enjoy those places because they kept everything. Litigation for the 1880s would be stored at the archive, whether city, county, or state archives for litigation. And the beautiful thing about litigation is I use it to help me, and I still use it to help me with any type of case I work, whether it's civil, criminal, a tort, we're doing defense work, or any type of research. The litigation searches are so important. Any previous case can give you a lot of information that fills those blanks for the who, what, when, where, and why. And once you start doing the research in the courts, lawsuits were in Los Angeles. Okay, if it's you're lucky because the LA County Record Center, and let me see if I can find that right quick. I'm gonna switch screen, and I'm gonna show you the Archives and Record Center for LA. So please switch screen for me. And this is the Superior Court of Los Angeles. Records and Archives, and the location for that is downtown Los Angeles. It's right across the street from the Superior Court. As a matter of fact, you take the Metro Rail there, and when you come up from underground, you come up right at the Archives and Records Center, which is located at 222 North Hill Street, room 212, Los Angeles 912. And their telephone number is 213-830-0198. And this is one of the most important locations in LA for research, probate, office is across the street for the most current probate cases, but all the old cases, you will be able to do a microfiche search by name, or they have the journals where you search the names, which are in alphabetical order, by last name and year, and you go through and you find every case that's been filed for an individual, and you write down the case number, and then you go and request that at the window, and they will either pull it or tell you where the file is located. There's a lower floor where there's microfiche rooms where some of the cases are housed on microfiche or microfilm, and they give you the roll. You go through the roll until you find what you're looking for. Myself personally, I like to go through the rolls to learn what's there, make sure I know how to use it in case of the next case. So it's a journey through history. You look, you see things. And one important thing about research, you must realize that you have been given a spelling for someone's name. And sometimes you have to look for light or misspelled names. So keep in mind that sometimes when you're doing research, you want to look for information on individuals, but look for any variations of their name. Myself personally, I was born in a house and by midwife, and the midwife went to report my birth at the county clerk's office, and they misspelled my name. So right now I suffer from identity crisis. I don't know who I am. My last name is spelled Wiggins, and on my birth certificate it's spelled Wiggins. I just keep it in case of necessary. I have another identity to assume, but I want you to understand that when you do research, look for variations on names. The court records are very helpful. You can switch back to the main screen, if you will. The archives are around the country. And Ginger is asking another question. I'm looking for the New Yorker restaurant, which was in Ocean Park, LA County, owned by my great grandfather and involved in okay. That time period is a good one. What I forgot what year you said it was. Please bring back up that year again, if you don't mind. What year are we searching? Let's see, the New Yorker restaurant. I love this type of stuff because a lot of times, 1880s, that is perfect for, let me find something for you. It would be, that's why my library is such a joy. I don't have anything that old here in my library, but I'm going to try and find something just to give you an idea. It would be in a city directory is where you want to start to get, or a telephone directory for that time period. Hopefully, when the library opens back up, you'll be able to, or you can check with the library and see if they have, first of all, reverse city directories or city directories for that time period, and you would find a listing with the restaurant's name, address, and probably some other details. Then you can search real estate filings, which would be in Norwalk, or if you get lucky, you can find data like that at the Mormon Temple. They have a lot of records. Someone else is asking another question, but I would look in Norwalk for business filings, Ginger, and reverse city directories, and I think you'll find a lot of information there. Ginger, again, is New York City has actual photos of the building. The business is in which is being taxed. Does LA? No. New York City is unique in the fact that during that period of time, it was going through growing process with all the immigrants, and they kept pretty good records. LA, let's see, was founded in 1870, or let me see, 1875. The real estate records came in too, so LA started keeping really good records around 1875 after the Treaty of Hidalgo, which incorporated California into the United States. Let's see here. We have Jane. Is there a recommendation website for property research in New Mexico? Also, do police reports become public information at any point in time? Absolutely. The public police reports, you would need the incident report number or police report number, or depending on the time period, they can do a name index and search it for you, give you the report number and the name of the individual and possibly the offense. And then from there, you would order the report. In New Mexico, I would suggest you call New Mexico and see, I forget what records you were looking for at this point, but can you bring that question back up? Is that possible? Because I know it was a police report, and property research. Property research is one of the main tools used in every state of the union and every state outside the union, because of the fact that real estate is the #1 business in the world. I'm a notary, and I became a notary loan closing agent so that I could practice real estate finance and real estate law. And the #1 business in the world, not just in this country, is real estate ownership. You pay taxes just like any other business, and you pay insurance as well. So real estate records are documented. So the county clerks, the city in New Mexico would have ownership, taxation information on when the property was purchased, the property ID number, the name of the owner or owners or corporation that owns it. So real estate in New Mexico should be a piece of cake. You have the assessor's office and the assessor for the city and for the county. In each jurisdiction, some of the titles are different. District court, a municipal court, superior court. You look to see what the court is in your area, and then make the comparison to the court in another state. Now, I just missed the last question. Could you bring it back up? And that would help me out a little bit. Might employment records be accessible for the 1900, 1920 in South Dakota and Montana? Well, once again, one of the #1 sources for information would be this: a city directory. Basically, Pope city directories, they're like telephone books, but they also list the name of the father, his employment, his wife, housewife, and sometimes it's like a census. And Ancestry.com would help with a lot of things, because you can check for census, and that helps you for time periods like this. That helps you develop more information because it gives you a county or a city or an area, cities or areas that a person has lived in, and family members. But in South Dakota, for that time period, I think you'll be in great shape because the archive or the public library should have some city directories for that time period, which will most likely, when you open it, illuminate you to the fact that it might even have the place that that person worked at. And you never know. It's always just a wonderful thing to open up that book and see they had information about where the guy worked. Now, we have another question here from Kristen O'Brien. Welcome, Kristen. Where would I find information about architects and engineers who worked in my residential tract between 1923 and 1925? I am looking for original documents for plans, drawings, works. Oh, that's beautiful. That would be the county clerk's office. Hollywood land. Oh, wow. That's a great one. I met I live in St. Andrews Square. Down the street from me was an old rickety house that looked like it belonged to the Addams family. It looked like if the wind blew too hard, it would fall over. I did work for the Speakers Guild, so I helped preserve homes from the end of yours time period till 1800s, whatever, if we're still up. In Los Angeles, we did the preservation for those. And I met the owner of Hollywood Land Realty. And she was unique. And the house that I was speaking of earlier, it's been removed and been replaced by a giant condominium complex. And that house they removed was the childhood home of Mary Pickford. And today it still stings, bite, and hurt to know that they tore down this house. The owner of Hollywood Land Realty has my preservation committee in this neighborhood. They preserve homes like what you're talking about. And that a home like that is it's not, I'm at a loss for words because I'm awed by homes of that period. But the county clerk's register recorder's office and the city assessor's office. You go to the city and the assessor's office downtown Los Angeles, and you can the Los Angeles City Assessors, and they have track maps that you can get online for current, but you can call them and see they should have a track map for that time period. Right now, LA is in the process of preserving as many of those homes as possible because that's a lot of history. I go throughout LA and I'm always eyeballing homes from 1910, 1920s, and Art Deco period. So I did a lot of volunteer work with the city of LA to preserve those type of homes. So I would suggest if you need any help in the future with your research, I'd be more than happy to help you because that is one of the things that I enjoy most about doing research and helping people. So I'm going to bring my website back up a little later on, and you be sure to get my information and shoot me an email, and I'll see what we can do. And you can also call me. I'm very accessible. Okay, I have another question here from Alice. Where can I learn to do title search on a property? This is for Maricopa County in Phoenix, Arizona, trying to find the surname of a family friend from the 1980s. but I don't remember their surname. Wow, you are so blessed because for the 1980s, a lot of the information may be on microfiche, and it's very possible because, oh my God, 1980s, I might have it here. I am I am sure that I have in my library on this side of me microfiche for Arizona, uh, and I think you said the 1980s for Maricopa County. Uh, I might have the information that you're looking for. In this collection of microfiche that I have, it covers California, Arizona, Texas, and a few other states. I'm really good with the state of California. CITES is addresses, identification. You find addresses or owners of addresses by the name of an owner by the address, or you can do alpha search and you search the name and it provides the address. So for Maricopa, I have both CITES and alpha microfiche of real property ownership. I may even have some other tools or data in my microfiche collection that would help you achieve your research goal. But also, Arizona is going to have, with the county clerks and the register recorders and maybe the city, tax information for that area. But I'm going to do this. You have my website information, and today I'm going to provide my my personal email address, and because I want you to be able to succeed at your goal. So for that that question regarding Maricopa, here's my personal email address, and anybody else that wants to shoot me an email, I'm going to provide this to you. So if you have any questions afterwards, I'll get them on my personal email and show them a little attention, and as a thank you gift for being a part of this genealogy garage. So here's my email address: jm_wiggins@yahoo.com. So know that I'm going to add you to my list of people that I help. So I will be able to, and then you can also go to my website and shoot me some requests as well. But jm_wiggins@yahoo.com. And I am going to look real quick to see what I have up here.
Hey, James, here I am. I'm here too now.
Okay.
I just wanted to thank you so much for all the stuff you've told us about. I just wanted to kind of ask a couple of questions that may have slipped through the cracks because we got a storm of them all at once. One is just to recap. So let's say COVID has gone away and it doesn't exist anymore. People can go in person, right, to the registrar office to conduct their own research?
Yes, the beautiful thing about the Register Recorder's Office is it handles a lot of state information. It's in Norwalk, and let me see if I can bring that up for you real quick. Hold on a second.
I direct people there a lot when they ask about vital records.
Yeah, so. And that is exactly where you go, but it also keeps real estate filings. Hold on a second. Here, okay, if you would please switch screen for me. And this is their website. it says lavote.net, but if you go home, uh, they provide a myriad of services. In this particular page, right here, the Los Angeles County Registrar Recorder County Clerk's Office, 12400 Imperial Highway in Norwalk. And there's the telephone numbers. They speak mainly of voters information, but you have the recorder's information, which is birth, death, marriages, property documents and recording, real estate recordings after recording, business filings. So that's like fictitious business names and the owners of business. Any type of tax lien filed by the state. It is letters of commitment. You'd be surprised what you'll find in the general index on the, I think it's the 12th floor. I can't remember what floor it is right now, but you go there and you tell them you want to do a general index search, and it might be the 4th floor. And you go in, you wait for a machine, you search by name of the individual, by year, and it's done by year, and it's on microfilm. And it's just a wealth of information there. You can switch back to me, and that is a good place. Between that and the Archive Center downtown LA, that is those two places provide a great deal of information. What is Somebody's asking about my website. I'm going to switch to my website real quick. So if you would, please switch to the website. And this is my information. And you go through. One of the things that I'm working on is, you'll notice the resource list. And the resource list is going to be a list of locations that I mentioned today, the address, telephone number, and what information is found there. And if you have a resource, or if you yourself are a resource outside of this city, this state, this county, I will be more than happy to list you so that people know where you are, so that they can utilize your services as well. And it's a good thing for us to do this together, so that we can help make ourselves better researchers. And here in my collection, I have Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Hawaii real estate records, Nevada, Oregon, Texas, and some Washington State. And mainly a lot of it is real estate, business ownership, and I can be honest with you, because most of the details in the voters registration information I have is more than 25 years old. I can share that. And voters registration is very helpful. In Texas, I even have DMV information, so registered drivers that by their name and by license plate. So you can switch back to the home picture, and the picture of me in it. I see Lisa. Hold on, I'm going to go back. Lisa James, how long does it take you to complete one of these reports? Wow, it depends on what I'm working. I do federal defense, superior court, civil matters, and background investigations, and then with historical research, you never really put a time limit on it. It's like cooking. You enjoy the process as you go along, so that at the end the food tastes great. It takes as long as it takes, and I have set aside for most anywhere between, for a criminal case, 10 to 20 hours. Ginger, LA Public Library, do you have other genealogy programs? This is the first I have known about, so I would turn that over to. Yes, she has a lot, and she's on top of it. So it's hard. Let me do this. It's hard for me to participate in group things, because I feel like I have so much to say, that I don't want to start because I don't want to shut up. But I have learned a lot, and I'll let Julie go on and tell you about what she has for you.
Sure, sure. Ginger, we have every third Saturday, we have this program, Genealogy Garage, and we cover a wide breadth of topics that might interest genealogy researchers. You can, one, send me an email. You see my email on the screen, and I will add you to the list that I send out once a month to tell people what's coming up next. Or if you go to lapl.org, we have a calendar section. Just type in genealogy as a keyword, and it will bring up all of the events, not only that I do, but that our branches do. So that'll keep you up to date. And also, I can answer this next question about will this broadcast be available to view at a later time? It will be available for the next 24 hours at the same links you used to watch today. We need to work on getting these closed captioned. And once they are, then they can be up forever. But right now, we're busy taking care of that, but it will be up for the next 24 hours. James, someone a long time ago, and I know we have to wrap up soon, but mentioned, you know how you went to Been Verified, that first website for public records? It looked like it wasn't free. Was that one of the for pay sites, or is it free and it just looked like it charged?
More web search, but you have what do you call these things that troll, and when you do research, they switch you to another website. That's what happened to us. But search system itself, that's why I was getting ready to bring up another website that for free public records, and I was just looking at that. So I'm going to switch to that screen so you can see. This is free asset search and asset location. So it's basically public records. So you can switch the screen, and you can see this says publicrecordscenter.com assets, and it lists the different records that's available. Property records, nationwide bankruptcy, business resource, and then it does it by states. So that's one. But the search system link looked as if it got invaded after the search. We didn't. There was no results for the research that I did. So it switched over to Been Verified. But the Public Records Center is good, and here I see it Been Verified. What did steal us away, and another one is the Los Angeles, the Superior Court of LA County, and you can go to their website so that you can switch screens so that they can see that website and get its address, LA County, lacourt.org, and that one is for record searches, and I think, I'm sorry about the Been Verified thing, but I had used search systems for a long time, getting public records from all over the country, and you can do just Google or do an internet search for free records, and just go through them and see which ones are free, and get what information you can from them before they start charging you. It provides a lot of information. And here's a question: where can I take classes to learn how to do property title searches? That is something I've always wanted to do. Well, I think you don't need to take classes. All you have to do is go to the county clerk's office in your area. If you're in the LA County, you can do it. And if you do it and become really good at it, you can get a job as a title researcher with any title company. So once you learn how to do the title research, title companies have people that sit there all day long and do title research for purchases and refinances of property. I missed that last message. Oh, well, thank you. John said, my breadth and depth of experience is amazing. And John, I'm sitting here with something that I want everybody to know. This is a journal. And it's not a journal. It's a list of things that I can do or where I can go for information. And this is the small one. So I have at least 3 of these, and they catalog any place and everything that I do. I have goals lists in there for 20 years. So for the last 20 years, my goal. Your goal in this case, thank you, James. Oh, wow. Ginger, I'm a fan of Ginger, and I want to thank her because your participation is important. And you have my contact information. Here's RM Bear. Thanks, James. Great to get an alternative approach to genealogy research and helpful handout. And the handout that's just a model report. I want you to know that model report was used by investigators that did defense work for tobacco and asbestos cases. So that's how some of the defense work wasn't to fight saying that the product was not bad. The public records led to whether you lived in an area where there's red clay, so your disease could be environmental, or if you're in the southern spot or southern part of the country where moonshine was prevalent, you were drinking from a still that had lead poisoning as a result of your family connection. So the public records, real estate, and court records, and the county clerks and the city records were very important in providing information for almost any and everything I do. I've learned a lot. You guys are, can I get this in writing? I have a testimonial port on my website. I like all of this. But, this is a joy because to have information and not share it is as much of a criminal offense as somebody taking a gun and robbing you. So feel free to contact me, because what we touched is just a drop in the bucket. I didn't tell you how to read the document and what information you find in each document. I just want you to be introduced to public records, know where public records are, and the most important public records are the ones we touched today. So,
James,
if you come up,
can I make a plug if you're at a pause for the library for a second?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say the library also has a lot of public records or ways you can access public records. Possibly we receive them as a donation from James, who has given us many, many materials in the past, city directories and that sort of thing. We have, and not a lot of people know this, but we do have some Los Angeles civil and criminal court indexes on microfiche in the history department. And these are usually kind of 70s through the 90s. They're not super current, but if you find that it might be a little intimidating to go to a courthouse or the Hall of Records, you can always see what we have at the library, and you might be able to come down, look at our index, which is by person's name. So if you knew someone who was involved in a court case, you could look them up by name and find out maybe the docket number, the year that it was tried, and then you can go to the court to find the record. Is that the procedure you would do, James? You'd find them in the index first and then go to the court, or how does that work?
Well, I was waiting for you to finish because I wanted to compliment you on that part of your collection, because one of the things that I found out here recently is that the archive and the court have neglected those particular records. So it's actually very hard sometimes to go to the archives and the records center and gain access because the lines are so long, and they only have one window that allows you to gain access to those records. And they are very important because you have divorce, probate, and just because the records are, you think those are old, that is a very populated period of time that you have those for, and it's easier to access them at your location than it would be to go to the court. And once you access them, you do it by name. You write down the case, the date, the defendants, or the title of the case, and then you can order the docket, which gives you an overview of it's a summary of the entire case, and then you can order the records from the archive center. And thank God they have those, because I feel like LA Superior Court has let us down some. Because those records aren't that easily accessible. And the worst part about it is the clerks are actually, what do you want with those records? And they're public records. They're part of our history, and they should be easily accessible, because it's more than just a public record. It's a part of our history and our culture that is preserved for people to go and look and see what was taking place back during those times.
And, you know, I'll mention we don't have all of them, but we might have something you're looking for. But I also want to bring up, unfortunately, the libraries are still not open to the public right now. So get together a to-do list. And then when we are open, we don't know when that'll be, you can charge the history department running with all the things you have to do. And try those civil and criminal indexes. I mean, they're in the catalog. I mean, not digitized, but the placeholder that tells you where to go to find them is in the catalog, but not a lot of people know about it. So email me if you have questions about those. But yeah, the library's got a lot of resources too you can use.
And I like to say and augment that with what your library doesn't have, I do have, and I have copies of the same. So if it gets to the point where you can't make it to the library, I have a lot of those court records, and Citus, which is by real estate by address, and Alpha, which is real estate by owner's name for a large period of time in LA. So I'd be more than happy to help you with your research projects. But if you go to Julie's home, away from home, downtown at the library, you will find reverse city directories, telephone books. The telephone books can provide you with information because it was published, and it gives you name, addresses, and locations, and reverse city directories, and they have a large collection of microfiche as well.
Yeah, thanks, James. Well, I think we need to wrap it up, but my gosh, I think we could do a couple other sessions with you on specific research topics. If anyone out there is interested in anything in particular, it sounded like some people were interested in property research. I'm interested in court cases, how to research those. Just send me an email, and we'll see if James has some time, maybe down the road, he could maybe do another session with us. But I just want to thank you on behalf of all the appreciative viewers, Jim, for sharing your vast knowledge with us and making it exciting. Like, it makes me want to research things that I was maybe a little inhibited in doing before. So I really appreciate your time today.
I appreciate being a part of something that I've gone to the library on many occasions to do research, and when I walked in, there was a photo display of some type of time period or something, and I remember as I walked by those photos and I looked, I was transformed to that time period. You know, I was like walking into time. And these public records are the same thing. Each time I do research, the more research I do on a person, the more I develop the profile, and I feel and I think like that person too. So it's more than just public records. It's a view into the past and the life of an individual that you're doing the research on.
All right. Well, thank you. And everybody have a wonderful weekend. And like I said, email me about anything and I'll try to help. And we'll see you next February or next month. We're going to have a dynamite speaker on African American homesteading. So if that's your research area of emphasis, even not if you're just interested in historical land record research in America, she has a blog, Bernice Bennett. She's a really well-known presenter. So join us in February, the 3rd Saturday, and I'll send out an email reminding you. But that'll be next time. And thank you so much for joining us.